Hello. I am not super energetic today. Work killed me. It was great. And by great, I mean, I fucking hate my job, man. Oh. I gotta go do this tacit field. I'm trying to get some crap from my fusion characters. It's not going well, because can't get anything very useful. Those dogs are annoying. Oh, not anymore annoying the damn monkeys. Stop it! Get out of the wind! Get out of the wind. Stop it. Get off. You guys suck. You especially. Bitch. Mic sounds fine. Well, I haven't screamed yet. Hello, controls? What the fuck? Why are there so many monkeys around here? Bitch. The burped. You might hear me munching on some popcorn. Because, again, my settings are fucked up. Is that picking up the speaker? Probably. I still haven't gotten that expensive ass fucking microphone that I bought set up. It won't, so I can hear it when it outputs, and I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. I have to talk really loud, gain this shit, and it won't. Doesn't sound great, which is ironic, because that is the opposite of why I bought it. And then I hit record and to test it, and nothing, no sound. Why is that? Why output when I listen, but no output in record? I have questions and no answers. Troubleshooting is not helping. Google has no answers. Oops. You are very far away from the tacit field. Can you die? Why are you not dying? I have no idea what the... It looks like it's fusion. What's the... I'm not looking for fusion then. Fusion is fired. Wish I could help, but I don't know shit about XLR mic setups. Yeah, neither do I. This character, Mortifi, shit. I was not paying attention. Looks like one of my OCs from my cringe phase of role-playing, which was not very long ago, not gonna lie. But my OC is not straight, and people have a straight ship of this guy and Baisha. And I'm like, no, I think not. That is very incorrect. And yes, 100% Why did you heal? Bitch, why did you heal? Hi, Biko. Anyway, as I was saying, he's not straight. No way. And it is 100% projection of my own OC. Ah! The big guy, please. Don't touch me. I don't know you. Oh, my arm cramps. Gremlins OC, don't steal. Dude, when they teased Mortifee before the game came out, I was like, that's my character. That's my guy. So the first banner, I wasn't trying to pull the actual 5-star, I was just trying to get Mortifee. I got all the redheads except him. I was like, bro, please, I don't want the arrow guy with the fucking pole on. I don't want him. I don't need him. I'm good with my white-haired Sephiroth husband here. Like look at him. He's so cool. I can't turn the camera. I lost my first 50-50, so that's a great start to this game. Losing the 50-50. Yeah, I am pouting about it. I only pulled her because I was told, or attempted to pull her, because I was told, excuse me, who are you standing in front of me? Okay, that was weird. I definitely saw a figure when I hit that button. I only tried to get her because I was told that she's a good support for this guy, who I main. The bear, there's a bear, it's like level 120 bear. I used this character at level 40. It was really slow process, but it's nice that you can do that kind of thing, like defeat enemies massively higher level than you, as long as there's not a horde with them, because there's a dodge limit. Silly goofy little dodge limit. Cooldown. Alright, what's the next task at hand? Oh, you know what's freaking crazy? I've never once beat one of these, or like, not beat it, finished one of these, and then like level 60s when you stop getting anything really interesting, and everything after that you have to have the insider channel to get some echoes, which I did because I was like, man, I only have like 30 levels before I finish this thing. Yeah, do some grinding. Make sure nobody's watching because they'll giggle at you. Get it? Grinding, like the dance. Okay, I'm done with that. You can untrack it. See this, what is that? Havoc. I need Havoc stuff. I'm trying to build Tauchi? I don't know how to pronounce her name. That's not it. That's what. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tauchi? I don't like the weird physics on her. She's a little jiggly. I played too much Final Fantasy 14. Haven't got time. More like you're busy being addicted with something else. This guy wouldn't freaking leave me alone on the banner. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. This bitch. And then I went to pull a weapon. This bitch came. Fucking Alto. Little shit. It's always somebody that won't leave me the fuck alone. Ugh. I lost my 50-50 to a punching character, and I'm not a fan of the punching characters. I'm up spaghetti. Upsetty spaghetti. Alright, I really need to finish doing tutorial quest. Why is the event a tutorial quest? You like the punching character? Well, you want my lion boy? I've always been super into Claymore characters. Genshin, I always get the pretty girls with the big swords. There's just something very enticing about pretty girls and big weapons. My favorite trope. Hello. I'm still mad that I did not get the plushie. Learn about the second coming. Is this voiced? Nope. Your glasses are kind of funny. It looks like those straw glasses where he plays weird though. So you like the old man that's kind of ugly? And I'm not saying he's ugly because he's old. I'm just saying his design is bad because you know who's not ugly? The general that does your training exercises. I like him. If he was playable, I'd pull him in a second. No. So you don't know about it. No. Second Coming of Solaris. It's the fiction that everyone's talking about across Huanglong. It has been a bestseller for 3 weeks. Why would I have read that? I'm busy. I like the punchy girl you meet, actually. Oh, the martial art lady. I don't have her. I didn't, unfortunately. She's like the all-arounder, isn't she? She does healing, punching, and something else, right? Its author, Carl, is from the New Federation. In his debut work, and it's his debut work, and he's already named one of the top earning writers in recent years with a single book. It rivets nearly all the intention of our editors from the headquarters. They all enjoy reading fiction? Oops. Of course not. Some swooped in only to try to find the trick to write a top seller. But I can't deny that it is the best piece of work among all the candidates in recent years. She's pretty good. The old dude isn't bad, but she feels like a better character. Well, she should, considering she's a 5-star and he's a 4-star. There's gotta be something that makes you pull a 5-star. Is that who you pulled for your standard? I was taken on an epic adventure through the protagonist while I was reading Second Coming of Solaris. I got carried away. Let's turn back to our topic. We hope you can lend us some help. No. Reach an agreement on developing a game franchise. Oh boy. When's its release? The development is still at a very early stage. The basic framework is complete, but we're still working on the production of a huge body of art assets. The dev team is struggling to find a creative direction that enables them to recapture the grandeur of the world in the novel. Our meeting yesterday, a few colleagues mentioned, oh, this is the exploration thing. Do I get early access? Yeah, that's a good question. Of course, we'll let you know whenever there's progress in the game. Simply put, all you need to do is find some real-world references that fit the descriptions in the novels. These references, developers can have a general picture of what the in-game world should look like. Any rewards for this job? You don't need to worry about that. We have a deep budget for the game, and you'll be well compensated for your efforts. Don't forget to include me in the credits. Yeah. On our special thanks list. Okay, listen. Yeah. Okay, so I forget you're not really a gacha player. This is a limited. This is the standard. See, standard characters. Anybody on here is a standard character. So these guys. He's a standard 5-star. This is the one that I got from the gacha. The beginner's gacha. I actually have his chain, a couple of his chain. I made a rule for myself that I'm not allowed to pull characters until I build the ones I have, which is unfortunate because I have, I think, 2 characters that I don't care to build. Whoops, wrong button. 2 characters that I, nope, 3. I don't want to build these 2, and I don't necessarily want to build this guy. Mostly because I'm bitter. But here we are. What was I doing? Event. Observe the lingering TD. Oh, wait, I did these. Nice. Nice it. Oops. Where do I do that? Resets daily. Oh. How long has this event been out? Because ugh, I'm annoyed with this because the very last level, it doesn't give you a trial character that matches the level of everything else. Everything's capped at 60. And I can't even use the characters that I actually built. By characters, I mean my one character. They locked him. Which is a load of horse shit. There's no reason to lock a character out of it. I gotta do this character quest because apparently they disappear. So we're gonna do that. You don't think this... Yeah, you know what? I've learned that if I like the game, you probably won't. Which is unfortunate. It makes finding collab games very difficult. Most of the time. It's true most of the time. And you don't help pick any collaboration games. I have to put in all the work.
Oh,
hello. Hello. Are you from the Seance Society? Since you're here, you must have lost someone too. I lost myself. Evil patrollers. My daughter, her name is Yun. I don't look at multiplayer because I played single player for so long. Okay. You're in a group now. I don't know how to find 3-player games, so you're gonna have to help now. Is this girl dead? We were separated by an unfortunate turn of events, but now I have her back. It's a sign. Game audio is cracking. What? Why is it cracking? Why is there filters on it? Is it still cracking? Dude, you sound crazy. Is that better?
So da. あなたも互助会に入れば大事な人と再会できるんだ。
So your daughter had died.
違う。
I don't know about you guys, but I got a bad feeling about the Seance Society. That is not at all what a seance is. Hey, you're scaring the little ghost girl.
ひどい興奮状態。これは
落ち着いてなんていられるか。私はどこにも行かない。そうだろ。 エンちゃんもパパと離れるのは嫌だろう。
We did this quest the other day. See, I missed the other guy's character quest because they freaking put a time limit on it. We might hurt the girl. I must act fast. Wait, is she possessing this other little girl then?
エンちゃん
Stop, you're gonna hurt her.
こいつ娘を返せ。
Bro, fight me. Fight me. I am itching for it.
レイ、
Oh,
やめなさい。
hello.
エンちゃんは私に任せて。あんたにはまだやるべきこ
I
とがあ
guess
る
in
で
this
しょ。
one you're talking about because I was in France. Yeah, probably. I didn't realize there was a limit. She's got pointy ears. I lost my 50-50 for her.
レイエイ、もう一度エンちゃんを失いたいの？
Did you lose your 50-50 too?
はい。あとはよろしくお願いします。
Do you know him?
まずはエンちゃんを返してもらおう。
Bitch, first of all, you gonna answer my question. Second of all, why are your nails on the outside of your gloves? That's weird. Oh, what is that?
あんたも聞いたはずよ。これでも彼は
Oh,
エン
that's
ちゃん
where
の
your little
父親。
strings come from.
親子を引き離すなんてむごいことできないよね。
I have shit RNG luck. Lose most gotcha draws.
そう。
My RNG was super bad for artifacts in Genshin. I can get my characters, just can't build them worth a damn.
エンちゃん、いい子、こっちに来なさい。
What did you do?
あんたには関係ない。
And why would you be considered?
余計な
Smart
ことには
girls
首を
know
突
how
っ
to
込まな
mind
い
their
こと
own
ね。
business.
なかなかの腕ね。でも、
What are you doing to me? We're not fighting now? I can go on if you want.
人が来る。順位か。エンちゃんのことがバレると面倒ね。
Excuse
あん
me.
た、捕まるのが嫌なら手を貸して。
I had people
エ
say
ンちゃんのことは後
when
で
I played
説明
Dragon
するか
Ball,
ら。
I'd get new characters after like 6 new ones were added. You'd get the new character after 6 new ones. So it takes 6 new characters to get the previous new character. Is that what you mean?
もちろん、反婚互助会のことも、ね。
Okay. Why do you
合
say
理的
pretty
な判
lady?
断ね。時間がない。まずは争った痕
We'll need
跡
to
を
hide
消
the
してちょう
traces
だ
of
い。
fighting here. Oh, okay. I'll pick it up. Oh. You mean just like doing this?
これで問題ないはず。木箱の中に紙切れがある。貨物リストのようだ。
That's how shit my luck was.
日付は今日。貨物の中身は
My best luck was pulling Wanderer twice in a 10 pull. At 0 pity.
署名は例。
I see 6 Tim
どうや
on
ら
his
彼
first
のもの
banner.
らしい。
I even got his weapon. Low pull. Low pity.
これで大丈夫なはず。
No worries. You can sleep, I suppose. No, miss. This body. Wait, is. Do you make puppets and put ghosts
こ
inside
れ
of
な
it?
ら大丈夫そうね。
Good enough to get past their eyes.
順位が来る。しっかりとごまかして。
Don't tell me.
近くで大きな音がしたとの報告を受けた。君たち、ここ
Commotion
で
coming
何を
from
して
the
い
area.
る？
What's going on?
何も。私はこの人と散歩してるだけ。
I was trying to come up with something snarky, but I can't.
散歩？散歩でそんな音がするのか？
What was that loud banging shouting at? Listen, bud, mind your business. Mind your business. It's a two-person kind of tango, you feel me?
ああ、それはね、この子が転んじゃってワンワン泣き出しちゃったの。
Oh, I thought she was talking about me. I was like, I did not. Don't make me look to be clumsy. I am in the overdash
それで
club.
近所の人をびっくりさせちゃったのかしら。
では、なぜ君たちはここに？
Why we helped her and made her feel better.
この子、パパとはぐれちゃったみたいなの。それで私たち一緒にパパを探してあげようと思って。
That little girl's really good at picking up on when to cry on command. Onesan voice hits different. I don't want to sound like a hater, but the English voice acting was so bad. Like the Rover's English voice actor for the female character at least. No emotion. Like gets yoinked into some sort of alternate dimension kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, this is weird. I need to leave. How do I get out of here? I'm like, all right, I've had enough of that.
ねえ、漂白者さん。
Ah, yes, exactly. Never mind about what I said
なるほど。
earlier.
首相な心がけですね。
Hey, now don't put words in my mouth.
ではもう大丈夫ですよ。
彼女のパパの件は我々に任せてくれ。
Oh, that's awkward.
大丈夫。この子人見知りみたいだから。それにこれ以上あんたたちの手を煩わせるのも悪いわ。
心配しなくともこれは立派な仕事だ。君たちは気に
Dude,
せず
you
観
guys
光を
don't
楽
take
し
no
むと
for
い
an
い。
answer. Little kids are difficult to deal with.
順位という仕
I
事
also
の大変
changed
さ
to Japanese.
よくわかるわ。
I understand how tedious the job can get. That's why I want to help.
私はインリン、順位の一人よ。これがその証。
What's with the chains?
まさか同僚だったと。
これ本物ですか？巡礼所で見かけない顔だけど。
You can't know everybody ever.
私の目を疑うつもりか？照明の真偽くらい一目で見抜ける。
Ha. Bitch.
知らないのも無理ないわ。私は今週上の順位ではないもの。今日は休暇を取ってここに来たの。
Was it bad? Is mine bad?
そっか、通りで。
Ah, yes, that makes absolute sense, because if I disagree, I will get in trouble.
では我々はここ
You're
で。
all about the same.
女の子の件は君に任せよう。
I'm gonna call her Susan from now on then. I fucking try at least. Some people don't even fucking try.
何かあれば巡礼所に来るといい。行くぞ、新米。
じゃあ今週を楽しんで。ってあれ、待ってくださいよ先輩。
Wait up, Captain.
もちろん本当よ。
No.
でも明かすつもりはなかった。あの人なかなか鋭いから。
Didn't plan to blow my cover, but that was
こうで
something.
もしなければエンちゃんについていろいろと追求されてた。そうね、見てて。
Oh, she wears tiny shorts.
魂を返し人形に戻りなさい。レイエイの娘
Oh,
エンちゃん。
She is an android? She's not an android now.
そう。見
There's
た
a
目はこんなに
difference.
可
They're
愛
not
らしい女の
interchangeable.
子。でも、
Fight
レ
me.
イエの大事な娘はただの人形なのよ。
No. That is not humanoid. Android means that you can barely
今週
tell
で一連の失踪事件を起こし
easily
た黒
mistake it. You
幕は
cannot easily
犯行
mistake
互助
that
会
for
という
a
組
human.
織。
It's also taller now. What the fuck?
彼らは大切な人を失った者に人形を与える。
That sounds a little less crazy than what I was thinking at first.
その人形というのは死んだ者の人格と記憶が完璧に再現されたもの。
Replicate.
あの人たちには区別などできないだろうね。
She really passed
え
away.
え。でも父親の思いを頼りに人形の姿を借りて生き返った。
I can understand where you're coming from, and it may seem like a good thing that you're doing. However,
大切な人ともう一度会いたい。その思いの強さゆえ、人々は全てを犠牲にしてでも互助会に入ろうとする。
I feel like this isn't great from a high moral standpoint. Silly humans, you forgot to grieve.
けれど、人形をどうやって用意しているのかは未だ謎のまま。それに人形自体全く無害というわけではない。接触するだけでオーバークロックの可能性が跳ね上がる。
So like everybody overclocks? I thought it was just people with resonance. This reminds me of the episode of Futurama when Fry downloads Lucy Liu. I don't know that episode.
レイは互助会の勧誘役。あんたが一人で今週に来たことも把握していて、簡単に引き入れられ
The
ると思っ
perfect
たみた
outsider
いね。
traveling all alone, ripe for the taking, but
残念な
seems
が
like
ら
he
今
picked the
回は
worst
外れだ
possible
った。
candidate. Then why are you still helping
犯
him?
行互助会の裏に潜む悪を暴くため。
I need to apprehend the true culprit behind this group. But this is
あんた
not
と
your
は関係ない
problem.
話
I'm
よ。
on a mission.
どっか
Leave
で
now and
楽しく
forget
遊び
everything
な
that
りして
happened here today,
全
will
て
you?
忘れて。
No.
これは私の戦いだから。レイへの貨物リスト？それはどこで？
I found it in the box.
あんたも案外しつこいのね。
Excuse me. I am not the box. I found the paper in the box. The box was not me. You promised to tell me everything. Ow.
わかったわ。教えられる範囲でなら話してもいい。で
Fuzzy?
もここじゃ人が多すぎる。今週場外に来て。
Oh.
場所は
I
こ
can't
こ。
read a map.
本気で知りたければ。
Okay, bye. I guess. I'll figure it out. I guess. I guess. What? Backpack? Oh. Oh. I feel like I have a lot of dread mains. Oh, that was a 5-star one. Did I need that one? Nope. What's my data bank at? 133 of 208. Wonderful. 75. Then I start getting 5 stars. Awkward. That's so far away. Fuck. That scared the shit out of me. Ah, it's my other husband over here. The NPC that I would murder for. Hello. This guy looks way too cool to be a freaking NPC. See, this is how you do old dudes. Give them a scar, then they're cool. Stop giving them blue hair, it's weird. It's funny, now that Timmy doesn't exist in this, or since Timmy doesn't exist in this world, I have no desire to kill the birds, but the goats must die. Is that a goat? That's a cow. That's not a goat. Blech. Goat. Berka. Berka, no stab. Oh wait, yes, stab the goats. Also, love the fact that the NPCs actually do shit. Why did you decide to go to this one? And now we go back. Stab the goats. Those are cows. I can stab the cows. Oh, the cow's running away. The cow's gonna despawn. The cow's gonna despawn. Yeah. No. Get over here. Damn it. Ah! Why did you jump? That bastard. You win this round, cow. Going this way. I go this way. I've never seen the name spelled that way until the game. What name? Lame, couldn't even kill a cow. That would... Bitch. Not my fault. Ah. Oh, I drained this. Don't listen to him, Biko. I'm not lame. I'm lame for other reasons, not because I couldn't stab a cow. What name are you talking about? Oh. I've only... Yin? Is that how it's supposed... Why is it spelled like that? A goat! 17,000 and... or 1,760 damage. Lightning damage on a goat. Excuse me. This. Hit the rocks. Cool. Hello, I am here. Never mind. I'm gonna go. If you wait long enough, you can actually see them kill each other. We're not gonna do that. Anyway, I'm gonna eat this echo. Nom 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 nom. Delicioso. Hello. I suppose it's based on a dialect. Probably. WuWa, why are you putting that in there? Anyway, we meet again as expected. You told me to come here. Why are you acting surprised, you weirdo? This place seems safe enough. What's the Seance Society?
公益組織の名を掲げた集団。愛する人を蘇らせるという文句で多くの人を呼び寄せている。
You've seen firsthand the truth behind their supposed resurrection.
でも最近になって突然活発に動き始めたというのは少し気になる。
What's his
それ
face?
に例
They're
のよ
recruiting
う
new
な公
victims.
衆での勧誘行為も増えている。加えてフラクトシデスの存在を鑑みると。
I learned that word in like middle school or elementary. Never once saw it in action. I was today years old.
この事態の悪化、あいつらが噛んでいる可能性が高い。
I'm dropping popcorn everywhere.
さて、 あんたの知りたいことは？
I don't have any
今
more
日は介
questions.
入
Thank
以
you.
外にもう一つ仕事がある。それがその貨物リストよ。
See the transaction record in your
プラクトシデ
hands.
スが人形を購入した。レイエイと私はその引き渡し役。
They make puppets for the Fraxidius too.
ええ、ある時からフラクトシデスは互助会への介入を始め、人形を要求するようになった。つまりその人形を調査できれば生産者の手がかりを見つけられるかもしれない。でもレイはとても慎重で、私もまだ人形倉庫に入れていないというのが現状ね。そろそろ引き渡しの時間よ。エンちゃんをレイのところに連れて行かないと。面倒なことになる前に、この先はフラクトシデス絡みのとても危険な仕事。あんたも飽きてきて頃合いでしょ。ここで手を引くという選択肢もあるのよ。
Now that you know the nitty gritty details, it's still not too late to call it quits. I'm sorry, who do you think I am? A bitch?
やたらこだわるのね。
You don't seem to be mourning someone.
なぜそうまでして知ろうとする？
They may have a way to recover my memories.
記憶か。
I
あ
forgot.
んたにも
I
それな
lost
りの
my
理由があるよ
memory.
ね。他人の記憶を分析し、人形の行動に反映させる技術。
You ever forget that you forgot?
何か得られるかもしれない。まあそれもうまくいけばの話。そうね。
Civilian investigator.
私と協力してみない？
I guess.
これから私はレ
If I
イと
finish
フ
your
ラクト
quest,
シデス
will
に人
you
形を
come
引き
home the
渡
next
す。
time I pull?
彼は一人、あんたには彼を尾行して倉庫の場所を特定してほしい。
You and your
本
coordinates.
当に呆れた。少しは人を疑いなさい。
Now,
まあいいわ。あんたの実力に期待するよ。
listen, I'll do almost anything for a reward.
あんたはここで待機よ。レイへの動きに注意して。私はエンちゃんを彼の元に連れて
Hopefully
行
he
く。
won't suspect.
何も面倒が起きない。エンちゃん、目は覚めた？インリ姉さん、ここはどこ？
She said, "Oh, Nessan."
パパは？心配しないで。今からパパを探すよ。でもちゃんとお姉さんの言うことを聞いていい子にしててね。うん、いい子する。
That was kind of weird.
それじゃ
Talking to a machine like
あ
that.
とは頼んだよ、漂白者さん。
Go to the meeting place. Time to kick some ass. What is that? Oh wait, I think I might have already done that. It looks like it. What's up, dog? Get it? Because they're dogs.
壊れる
Bitches.
地形も戦争に不可欠だゆっ冷静さを
Stop
失う
touching me. You bitch.
デーモン、静かに。
Where'd it go?
はい。
Beep 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 beep.
怒りました燃えろ
Die. Thank you. Come along, Mortifi. Oh,
レイ、
it's not difficult.
約束通り
Different when I
娘を
talk to
取り
you.
戻した。
エンちゃん心配したんだぞ。
What was that in respect to?
二度と話さない。
パパ、どうして泣いてるの？エンちゃんは悪い子？
Why does her eyes look creepy?
違うんだ。エンちゃんのせいじゃ。
おままごとはやめろただの人形じゃねえかあんなの
I'm not make believe. That's a puppet.
パパ、エンちゃんは人形？
Fuck you.
エンちゃ
You
ん
think
は
you're so funny?
違う。
ええ、あんた たたちフラクトシデスに比べたらよっぽど人間らしいわ。
俺はフラクトシデスの実験に使うものだ。それが人間だって？お前らバカか？
I'm making such a mess.
貴様ら
無駄話はよせ。ブツ。
レイ、人形を持ってきて。
俺は
Uh-oh.
おい、聞いてんのか？お前らほど暇じゃないんだ、こっちは。
人形は
Fast.
断じて渡すものか。
Oh.
よくも俺らをバカにしてくれたな。
女を捕まえろ。逃げたやつまで。
面倒ね。レイは人形を連れて逃げる気だ。ここはあの漂白者に任せるし
Oddly
かな
enough.
い。
Pass. Hydrate? No. I don't wanna. You can't make me. Ah. Wait. Oops. Oh, wait. Wait, slow down, guy! Ah, wait for me! I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be hiding from sight or if I'm just chasing. What? If you put an eyeball, I think they're watching me. Found him. I didn't even get all the way there. I should get closer to take a look. Okay, now I don't want him to see me, yes? Go this way. Okay, I guess it didn't matter.
パパ、エンちゃん、もう走れないよ。
もう大丈夫だよ。ここまで来れば連中には見つからないはず。
Think her
なんで
battery's
悪
dying.
い人たちはエンちゃんを捕まえようとするの？
エンちゃんだけじゃ
I failed
な
that
い。
a bunch of times because I didn't
連
realize they
中が
want me to
捕
be
まえ
on
ようと
his
してるのは
heels.
全ての人形。
See, you put an eyeball on
でも、
somebody, we're gonna think to
パ
sneak
パ
snob.
が必ず止めてみせる。人形たちを家族の元に届けなければ、あいつらの実験品なんかにさせるものか。でも
Sometimes experiments can be fun.
あなたほどの人間がなぜ反婚互助会の理念をねじ曲げるような真似を。
エンシ、インリンが言っていた黒幕だろうか。
Who's doll
エン
maker?
シさんは悪い人？
パパも知らないんだ。でも
That
彼は
person. Hito
私たちの
means
ような人
person.
に希望をくれた恩人だよ。いや、今はそれどころじゃない。エンちゃん、パパが絶対何とかするからね。
この人たちにも信念があるようだ。
I'm trying so hard to pick out a word that I recognize.
こ
In
んなとこに
Japanese.
隠れたって無駄無駄。
You.
腕の鼻を舐めるなよ。
エンちゃん、下がって。
Anybody that touches their belly like that's a
今度こそ
pass. It's
パ
weird.
パが守る。
人形は全部もらうとして、こいつはどうする？
やれ。後ろに隠れた人形も連れ出すんだ。
Hey, what's that on your back? Is that a bazooka
一歩でも
cannon?
動いてみろ。
I know
このまま
Moto
じゃ
Moto from
オーバークロッ
JoJo's.
クの危険がある。
Don't die. I'm not your sister. Take your father somewhere safe.
お前、
What
い
is-
つからそこに？
What is this? What is that?
敵は一人だ。さっさとやっちまうぞ。
Why is
一
there a
人じゃ
machine
ないと
behind
し
me?
てる？
Forgetting someone? What? What is this? Hi.
あの女か。外のやつはどうした？
構えろ。
私たち反婚互助会はあんたたちを敵に回すつもりはないの。
We're not planning on starting stuff. What do you say?
ここは
Can
レイ
give
と
a
娘
little
は
break?
返していただけな
There
いかしら。
are people after all.
これでもうちの人だから人形たちは全部タダであげるわ。だからこの一
You
件は
may
な
have
かっ
these
たことに
puppets here.
し
We can
よう。
pretend none of this
抜か
happened.
せ。人形はもちろん我々のものだが、
Well.
あいつもお前らもここで死ぬ。
本当
Mother
にいい
Mother
の？
means
私
useless.
たち 協力関係でなくて？
協力？モルモットの
Lab
分際
rat
で笑
keepers
え
trying to
る
play
ね。
the game.
交渉決裂ね。漂白者さん、あんたはどうする？
Alright, it's time to kick some ass.
それもそうね。あんた分かってるじゃない。
Watch out.
いい腕ね。
You've got some
頼りに
moves.
してるわよ。
Are you sure? Okay, what did we zoom on her face? That's weird.
消してやる。愛になれ。
復元。
万象は好みに。はい。
Can't see what your guy's doing over there. Ah, I was looking at your guy. You
油断
fucker.
は禁物。
怒りました。死にたいのか。
Who's loading? It takes him a minute.
これはいかが。
Tackle! Wait. The puppets are talking. The puppets are talking.
どう？怪我はない？
I can take a dozen more.
そう。じゃあ次からは一人でお願いね。
That's fine. I'm not lazy.
ここから
I'm
はちょっ
lazy.
とややこしくなるわ
Actually,
ね。
you do it. Did you cover at risk? Am I worried about me? No, not at all.
驚
Actually,
いた。てっきり疑われてると。
I thought you never trusted me this entire time.
あんたの本気の顔
Fine,
も
I'll
可
spare
愛
you the
いけ
teasing
ど。
for now. Your serious face is quite cute, though.
いや、冗談はここまでね。
patronize me.
ブラクトシデスの奴らは逃がさず全員倒した。何か問われた時はこいつらのせいにすればいい。それに私、
People who said she was
疑わ
like
れることに
Yelon
は
are
慣れてるの。
liars.
潜入捜査員として嘘の中
I'm
で信
disappointed.
頼を勝ち取る必要がある。あんたも含めてね。
You planted a bug on me?
装着者を追跡できる盗聴器よ。最初から仕込んでおいたの。
First of all, don't touch me. Second of all, don't touch my stuff, because you obviously put it on my... fuck, what is that? Gourd?
誰も信用して
I
はいけ
forget
な
what it's
い。
called.
これは潜入調査員として最初に学んだ
Don't
こ
trust
と。
anyone.
あんたは霊た
You
ち
may not
のあ
belong
る
to
種の
any
情
group,
報
but you seem to
そして
care for
自分の
and
記憶
wanted
も
to
取り
recover
戻
our
したい
lost
という意
memories.
志を持っている。そのせい
You
で
can't risk you
あの二人を
betraying
逃
me
がす。
by helping
ある
them
い
run
は
off or
ご
selling
助
me
会
out.
に
Better
私の
safe
計
than
画を漏
sorry.
らす可能性だってあるでしょ。
I'm sure you overheard the name Dollmaker then. She got wire powers, bro. Of course she bugged you. Wire powers. Maybe Smash.
天使。その人こそ反婚互助会の要。
He must be a big person in the Seance
黒
Society
幕
or
か
even
もし
their
れな
leader.
い。真相まで
We're
あと
getting
一歩
closer
と
to
い
the
ったと
truth,
こ
but
ろ
we
ね。
have another issue
で
at
もまだ問
hand.
題。霊がオーバークロック
I
の
did a
影響
quick
で昏
check
睡
up
状態
on
に入ってしまっ
him.
た。
He just passed out from overclocking. Lucky for him, it wasn't that bad.
エンちゃんも人形に戻った。この状態で
Not
呼
even
び
I
覚ま
can
すことは不
reactivate
可
her
能でしょう
now.
ね。それにあの状態の霊を計画に組み込むのは得策じゃない。
You can try to prototype puppets.
ええ、それが賢明ね。きっと人形に手がかりがある。でもここに留まるの
But
は
we
良く
gotta
ない。
move first. Can't stay here for too
私は
long.
先に
Collect
霊とエンち
puppets.
ゃんを安全な場所に移す。
Excuse me, you got wire powers. You can just like fucking puppeteer them. What the fuck? Hi guys, come with me, I guess. Recover the dolls. Marked with a tag of its intended identity and recipient. Parents of Xiaohu killed during Tacit Discord outbreak. Mommy, Daddy, please come back. I'll be a good boy from now on. Yoink. Dumb kid. Your parents didn't die because you were stupid. Overclocking is like going crazy. I'm missing in an accident. It's not my fault. If I didn't leave, she wouldn't have gone missing like that. It's been 10 years. I just want her to tell her I'm sorry. Okay, telling a puppet's not gonna be the same thing. Oh. Who are you? Silly humans, you must move on. Overclocking is basically like, a psychotic break, I guess. That's what I'm getting out of it. I'm not offered a chance to bring her back to my side, thank you. Dude, you guys got problems. You need therapy, not dolls. It's me. Yeah, I know it's you. People cybernetically enhance in this game. No, I think the world is weirdly based around sound. Like everything in here is based on sound. Resonance, lament, echo, what do they call that other thing? Everything's based on sound, it seems like. Even the resonance symbol on people. Where is yours? On people is like a sound wave kind of thing, like. They're all here, no look, no clues though. The safe house, in case why they call it overclocking with no reference to IT stuff.
周辺に隠れ家の方角を示す狼の形をしたサインがある。それを探せば見つけられるわ。
Let's see. It just means running higher at a higher speed than intended. It's just mostly used for computer-related things. Forte. That's it. It's basically exerting one's mental capacity in an exhausted emotional state can lead to overclocking, losing control of one's forte. So basically, yeah, a psychotic break. Going beyond one resonant criticality while having low stability puts a resonator at risk of overclocking, and they are to be monitored. Does that answer your question? Probably not. It basically means they need to be put on watch and in therapy. Let's go. This must be the coordinates. The sensor may reveal more. What is lightning? What's happening? Raining. Oh, the flowers look different. Kind of, but I'm not satisfied by it. Alright. I logged out here once, and that fucking thing up there, when I logged in, I didn't realize where I was standing, immediately tackled me. Anyway. Wait, you want me to use a sensor? Whoops, that was not the button I meant to push. Sensor. Cool, I did it. That was cool. Where's the safe house? Up here? I'm back on. Guys, a goat! Guys, a goat! Guys, a goat! Got it. This. Excuse me. Why are you sparkling? Hello? Follow markings. Okay. I guess those are the markings.
ここで途絶えた。
Oh, what's that?
この周辺に隠れ家があるはず。
見て、ここに装置がある。
I wouldn't call that a wall.
パスワードか。
Try 000.
用心深いのね。こんなセキュリティまで用意するなんて。近くに何か手がかりがあるはずよ。
000. Oh, you want me to count the flowers? Okay, I think. No? That's a lot of flowers, though. What does it look like? Oh, I only see 3 though. Okay, it can go up to 9. Three, 1, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. Let's try it. 3, 1, 3, 3. Ah. 9. No. 6. 4. Okay. Wait, is this one also 4? Well, you don't have to reset the fucking number. I will brute force this. Fucking test me. Fucking test me. Wait, 0? Is it 0? No. Bitch. It's not working. Brute forcing is failing. I hit all the numbers. Didn't I? 2. Anyway. Brute force the code. Hey, I did it. I didn't even have to talk to you. No, you already went in. Fuck you. This is not a house. Fireflies. Brute force the
この
code.
隠れ家は侵入者を排除する設備が備わっている。ブラクトシデスの輩には到底見つけられない
They
わ。
will if you leave the damn door open.
そう、ここは隠れるにはうってつけの場所。外の人はここまで来られ
Nothing
ない
gets
し、
in and nothing gets
中の人も
out.
外部とのつながりを断たれる。
Rising renown, sharing a brain cell. Hey, I looked and then it didn't make sense, so fuck that. But where are the patrollers? Did I not count the bushels of flowers right?
ええ、一人もいないよ、ここには。
Wait, she evil? I mean, she did say not to trust anyone. Cut your threads.
一度教えたわよね。
Excuse me.
誰も信用してはいけないって。
Smash! I've been blasted.
この体いいデータが取れそう
She
だ。
was evil,
こいつを連れ出
guys.
して基地に戻るぞ。
The mysterious do they think they can keep me in here?
怪我はない。情報が欲しい。まずはここがど
Where
こか
this
調
place
べ
is
てみよう。
first. You think I wouldn't just like walk straight through this shit? A chair.
反感互助会、名互
Nameless.
助、証券、
Wenshun.
念仏、
Wushin.
連勝連、真理他にも
Alright,
たくさん
list
の
goes
中に
on.
は
Some of the names have been crossed
この
out.
人たち
They're
は
probably
多分
the Sales Society
反
members,
感
people
互助
who
会
went
の
missing.
会員。ここはまさか
Am I in their
反感互
base?
助会の本
Probably. Oh my gosh,
さっきま
box.
で閉じ込められていた木箱。よく見たら簡単に開けられそう。 隙間に何かが挟まっている。
Retrieve the tablet.
これは暗号化
Sent
通信
messages
機。
sent. These
こ
are
れなら
less
使って
traceable,
も
I
切
heard.
れもなぜこんなところに。これ以上の手
She's
が
a
かりは
double
な
agent.
さそ
She's
う。
not evil.
少なくともここが犯行互
You
助
can't
会
play
絡みの
evil
場所だと分かった。
characters
さっ
from
き
a
手に入れた
Chinese
暗号化
game.
通信端末でここの状況をシカたちに伝えよう。
Chisha. Well, tap the button when the for short, briefly. Okay, you mean fucking Morse code? Okay, wait. Okay, F. It is Morse code. It's so slow! Oops, I broke it. Because it's so slow. She didn't get one of those letters, but she can figure it out.
無事に届くといいけど。
Can I leave now?
あとは脱出する方法を。
Bitch, you're not even gonna zap me for touching it.
目覚めたか。出てこい。
Alright, now I'm not going to because you told me to. Fuck you. I'm leaving. Fuck off. Hey, it's the name on the list. Oh, it's a weird society of people that... Puppet family. You did. Oh. That... mildly creepy. I'm too tall. Guy's a goat. You're not going anywhere. Go, 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 go. Just full on leave. You can't tell me what to do. I need to throw this at something. Will you require throw? It's here. These I wish was a little less wonky to deal with. Also, they need to fix the hitboxes on these. I can't see them. Wasn't there? Where is it? I did it. I did it.
ないよりマシです。
Okay. Now I'm coming over and it is of my own free will and not because you told me to. I want you to write that down. I want a goat puppet to remember all the murdered goats. Pico coming out of the woodwork with the stabby. So it really was you. With maximum voltage back there, didn't expect you to wake up so soon.
念のため五条さんに見てもらおうかとも思ったけど
Joke's on you, I play with tech. I've shocked myself more than you have. Am I supposed to say thank you?
それはどう思う
Save your gratitude for Master Dollmaker since he asked me to keep you alive. We'd be in trouble if you
礼儀を
died.
知らん若造めインリンさんには敬語だ敬語
Excuse me?
お
I'll
前さん
fucking
の家
fight you,
族か
Grandma.
若
I
いやつは
guarantee you, you'll
簡
lose
単
your
に家族
ankles
を
will
捨て
give
て
out
どこ
before
か
you
に
can
逃げ
even
やが
take
る
a step. Fight me,
今日は
bitch.
団らんの日
Ain't no way
こ
I'm
の
letting
看板
anyone
から
leave
逃
this
げるなん
camp.
て絶対焚き火のところ
Go
に
sit
戻ってな
down next to the
インリ
bonfire
ン
and
さ
stay
ん
there.
こいつが逃げないよう道案内を頼まれてくれん
be
か
thinking of
話
slipping
は聞い
off.
た余計なことは考えず 私についてこい。
And if I say no,
力ずくで逃げる道もあるけど、あまりおすすめ。五条さん
I
があんたの
fucking
体に
left
毒を仕
for
込ん
like
だ。
a full
解
15
毒薬
minutes
がなけれ
there.
ば数日のうちに死ぬだろうね。それはあんたの勝手。それに本当に記憶を取り戻したいのなら少しくらい付き合っても損
You're
はしない
planning
は
us
ずよ。
about your memories anyway, so why not come with me?
反婚互助会の本拠
This bitch is
地。
pissing me off.
今週から失踪した人たちが集まっている場所。
Now I want to
そう
smash her
だ。
with a hammer.
いっそのこと、あんたもこっち側に来るな。
No.
予想通りの答えだけど、その行くわよ。本心はともかく、ここにいるみんなに挨拶。
No, I'm leaving. You can't stop me. See, watch. I'm leaving. This is me leaving. See, you see that thing? I'm gonna leave and kill this, and I'm gonna leave further away, and you're not gonna be able to do anything about it. So fuck you, bitch, a puppet ass bitch. Leaving. With this. With sparkle. This. Oh. Flower. Frog. Hey, bird. Little bird. Die, bird. Yeah, bird. Nice. I don't think I have a lot of those.
報酬以上を求めるつもりはない。
Union level. Well, that's not what I wanted. Wood textured shard. Beep 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 beep. Living! What's with all the fucking fencing? Goat. 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 Die. Goat. Goat. Ah, damn it! Not to leapfrog. Stab. Weird. Am I seeing? What are you doing? Did you see? I saw something over there. Could be hidden treasure. Those are exiles. I'll go look. Don't you dare! You motherfucker! Fucking piece of shit. That is not how a gun works. You weren't even pointing up. Bitches. Fuck off. Piece of shit. Treasure? This was not treasure. It was a snail. Treasure? Damn it. Treasure? It's just a shiny spot. There's nothing. Are you ready to be stabbed? You ready to be fucking stabbed? No. Well, you were gonna get it. He thought he was gonna be rich and I went to go dig in the murky water. Living! Can't tell me what to do. Where's people I want to stab? A butterfly. Hey, there's stuff. Hi, stuff. Alright, enough out of you.
復元。
What the fuck was that shit? You better not despawn. Ah. I dodged that. That was bullshit.
Yep.
Meh. Hello, would you like to go into my collection? Too bad you're going anyway. Ow.
万象はこの身に。
ターゲット確認。
Ha, I told you I was gonna click both of them. There's a lot of these guys over here. Where am I? Poppy. I need these. I don't know what for, but I need them. Oh, you know what? I need to go figure out how to get back to fighting that one guy. Do I have to take the thing now? I already did that quest. I don't know. I can't level up my fusion characters because I can't figure out where the fucking boss moved. Because he's not where he was before. He was down there, wasn't he? Wasn't last time I checked. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, bro? Can I talk to you about my Lord and Savior, Sephiroth? Don't fucking shoot me point blank. Bitch ass. It says down. It wasn't down there. I found it. Alright. Alright, I forgot about that move. Can you dodge when I tell you to? My fucking god. Get off your fucking bike.
万象はこの響き渡る。
ターゲット確認。司令。奇形も戦争に不可欠だ。
You pick and choose when you wanna do things and it makes you a bitch. I've actually fought this thing like 3 times now. Oh my god, my butt fell asleep. Ow! Where's... I was about to say... Yes. Again. Can I level up my guy? More Tiffy. No? 3? Bitch. You could have just given me the 3rd one. I had to fight that thing 3 times already. Tutorial. Blah 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 blah. Specialty drinks. I thought I was... I'm confused. I thought I was finding scenery for you guys. What do you mean drinks? Alright. I left and didn't die of poisoning. Just saying, me returning now is by my own accord. Write that down. I want you to document that I did in fact leave and was not in fact poisoned. I'm so mad that this area doesn't burn me anymore. I hate changing the open world. I don't like doing that. I'd rather suffer the burning. I'm upset changing the world around me. What is even the point of having an effect if it goes away from one quest all the time in the world and nobody has once did anything to fix this situation. It was me that did it. Oh, hi. I've seen you. You stab people. You won't get me, though. Sorry, babes. Bye. Nice knowing you. Can I have that? What do I need this for? Over here, apparently. Apparently. I go here. There is an ad incoming. Take this opportunity to take a little potty break and oh, that's the rose thing. Okay, I saw tentacles and I was like, what in the hentai? Take potty break and all your drink water, stretch, and all that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna do this puzzle. This one. Virgo. Virgo plate. Virgo plate. Bitch, where's the other plate? Oh, that one. Wait, why can I not walk through those? Does it go there? Guess so. I need to build this girl. Anyway. You gonna let me actually walk over here with this? No, they should put something in place for, like a perimeter where you'll lose that, so that you can stay within the perimeter and know where you're looking for things like that. Okay. What? 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 There's a rock down here. I'm gonna go stab.
報酬以上を求めるつもりはない。
ディディディディディ。Fuck. What the fuck? That's not a gold. You hit the box. You didn't pick up the honeysuckles. Also, that's not what honeysuckles look like. I'm nuts. I have returned and I was not dead by poison. Why talk to the members of Seance Society? want to talk to puppets. I'd rather not. Oh, Yin Yin. Hello. You're awake. Guys, I found the little girl they said that couldn't bring back.
パパが中でお医者さんに見てもらってパパ
I don't think androids can cry. I'm just saying. Do you think she knows she's an android? So I'll be right back. I didn't realize my drink was empty.
牙を研げ。戦いに備えろ。
Okay. Hey, is he dead?
人形と接触しすぎるといずれ症状が出る。それでもじいさんと一緒にいたい。
Must be hard for you.
私たちを責めたっていい。でもこれで助けられる人もいるんだ。
Yes, maybe we're causing more harm than good. Wait, are you sentient?
人形と接触しすぎると私たちを責めたっ
We
て
already spoke. Silence. Don't you hate it when bitches try to speak to you when you're not talking to them?
命に別状はないですが、目覚める気配も一向にありません。申し訳ないのですが、私は共鳴者に詳しくないので、おそらくもう打つ手はないかと。
それも仕方のないこと。彼は遠視さんの命令に背いた。
Was it you who poisoned me?
いかにも。それも遠視さんの命令です。
And you're okay with that?
同情会を拒む者にはこうするほかありません。
You refused to join us, so we poisoned you. Okay, that's not how you get loyal members. I'm just saying.
彼らには必要ありませんよ。逃げる可能性など何に一つもない。大切な人と会える場所はこの互助会だけなのですから。
You guys are a bunch of liars.
もちろん。でも人形にある特別な価値、それもまた代わりが利かないものです。どんなに腕が立つ医者でも手に負えない。救えない命があります。自分の愛する妻でさえ苦しみもがき死んでいく姿を見ていることしかできなかった。でも遠視さんの人形は救いを与えてくれたのです。どんな医者にも成し得ない奇跡を君に。もう一度会いたい人はいますか？
No.
ああ、それは不運なことです。大事な人が一人もいないのでは。
You don't twist my fucking words, you piece. The fuck? Imagine being so unfortunate to not want your loved one to come back, to never love someone that deeply. No. You see, I've been to therapy. I know how to handle my emotions and the process of grief and shit. You know it's not healthy? What you're doing, bitch. Fuck you. Hello.
また新陸と会えるなんてな。俺は満足だ。ただの人形だって問題ない。
I don't think you have real feelings. You only feel what he feels since you don't exist unless he's conscious.
もう死んでるんだ。今さらこだわったって何も変わらねえよ。
You have a really good projection of your friend here. Just saying.
また新陸と会えるなんてな。俺はもう死ん
Shut up! Die.
どうも。僕は新陸。歌唱と共にここの警備をしているものだ。ああ、レイさんと一緒に予備軍にいた頃もある。
あれからオーバークロックの症状はどう？
ご心配痛み入ります、インリンさん。かなり良くなりましたよ。でもレイさんは
All you bitches.
まだひ
You're
ど
all
くて。
stupid.
歌唱も予期の兵士だった。
Where's the logic in
で
this?
も僕を助けるために重度のオーバークロックに陥り命を落とした。
What if you end up overclocking?
そんなことはない。恩返しのためなら僕はどんな犠牲でも払うつもりだ。
All these reasons sound very selfish. I need them by my side. I had to watch them in agony. I have to apologize. Anything to make up for it. I have to make up for it.
インリンさん。この人は誰？
演師さんの客人よ。そんなに
Hello,
驚
I'm
いな
here
くて
to
も
judge
大
all of
丈
you
夫。
for your stupidity and
私たちの
selfishness.
邪魔しないで。それがどうしたの？
It's
こ
not
れ
your
は
son.
私の子供。
I know
あ
it's
なた
not
に
your son.
何がわかるのよ。
漂白者、
You need therapy.
あまり刺激しない方がいい。
No.
この生活を脅かす人は許さない。
行くところがある。
What is she supposed to do? Is she gonna fight me? I doubt it.
何？
She can't do anything to me. Man, everybody here is pissing me off. You're all so stupid and selfish. Good God, who's the doll maker? Are you the doll maker?
おい止まれ。お前反婚互助会のものでないな。
How do you know who one of
局
us
主
is?、
あんた怪我を？
これはインリンさん。もう戻られていたのですね。
無理は良くない。早く休め。それと、この人は演師さんの客人。心配する必要
No,
は
you're
ない。
not.
ここを
I'm
守
here
る
to
のは俺
threaten
の
your
務め。
entire way of life.
これくらい大丈夫ですよ。俺は平気。
命がなければその務めも果たせない。それに、もうここの警備も不要よ。
しかし演師さんは何があってもここを死守しろと。
安心して。彼は二度とここには戻らない。もうすぐ悲願を叶える私たちにこんなの必要ない。
しかし
これ以上は無駄ね。ここで待ってて。薬を持ってくる。
What? What's the ultimate goal? Fixing these people? I contained their wisdom and advice. It was your most treasured possession. It was my greatest inspiration too. Message
イ
from
ンリンが
Yunlin.
演師に何を伝えようとしたのかわからない。しかし、
What am I clicking
演師
on?
が読んだものを処分せずに
Action planner. Sparrow here, day 14 of our undercover investigation. Canary and I managed to get a hold of the date and location of transaction, but we've yet to find any key evidence. Based on various intel, we suspect Cuckoo has already planted a mole inside the nest, meaning our cover could be blown at any given time. I instructed Canary to abort the mission and return to the nest for the sake of safety, which she refused. She suggests that nowhere is safe if the mole has already planted a target on our backs. Rather, our optimal plan of action is to stick together and seek out the evidence and the mole as quickly as possible. We have already entrusted the hatchling to the care of Junior with whom we place our complete trust. We now have no worries. We can and must bring evil to justice.
ある獣医の潜入捜査員が書いた行動記録のようだ。なぜこんなところに？もしかして遠視と獣医は何か関係が？
Yeah, I don't know. I have to stand on this to read it, sorry. Close, so close, almost there, almost. My own memories failed me, and Yinlin is no longer an option. I spent over a decade on these two puppets. I lived for finishing this project. I'll do whatever it takes, even teaming up with those I once despised. Sacrifices will be made. I will see it through no matter what.
遠視は長い間、自分の能力を研究し、ある人形を作ろうとしていた。そんなに苦労して作りたいものとは一体。
Probably a loved one. Damn it. Let me read the ones in the chair.
子供が書いた日記だろうか。
Child's diary. Yep, what do you know? Go figure.
中には落書きが1枚。それと
Today, Master Dollmaker told me the stories about Mommy and Daddy again. He said they were brave patrollers who were betrayed by some really bad people. He only gets happy when he talks about this. He promised that he'd bring them back to me. When that happens, they'll get their... revenge. I do miss Mommy and Daddy, but I don't remember much about them. Do they want to come back as puppets and get revenge? This child has more forethought than anybody else, it seems.
This この子供が書いた落書きだろうか。あるいはかつて子供だった反婚互助会の誰かが書いたものかもしれない。そろそろインリンが戻ってきそう。極州のところに行き、彼女を待とう。
Has he not noticed me digging around his stuff? It's like a hair on me. Where is it?
これで大丈夫よ。まだ痛むようだったら五条先生のところに行くといいわ。
ありがとうございます。こんな怪我にここまでしてくれるだなんて。
Thank you, Miss Yinlin.
あとは怪我が治る
Alright, go
のを
find
待
somewhere
つ
to
ことね。
rest.
ここ
How
に
does
はも
he?
う
Did he not
守
notice?
る
Is
ほど
he
の価値がないのだから
poke his eyes out or something?
燃やし尽くす。下がってて。
We're burning it all. Stand back. I'll use
私
my
の
thunder
一
to
つして
start up a
残らず灰
fire.
にするから。
You sure you want to do that? I think you might regret it.
見たのね。
So you've read what's written? No.
くだらない嘘はやめて。
You're really not a good liar. I'll give you that.
まあいいわ。燃やしたところで過去が消えることはないのだし、それに火につられて残像が
And
来たら
flames could
面倒な
attract
ことになる。
tacit
でも極
discords.
主、あんたはここから離れて。ここはもう守る必要のない場所よ。
I don't know how to pronounce that one.
俺が守らないと
What
残
if
像
those
が。
monsters come up at us again? We have no one to stop them.
大事なのは
Your
過去
safety
の
matters
中
far
に
more
も
than those objects of the past. If
動
you're
けるように
okay,
なった
go
ら
help those who
他の
aren't.
人を守ってちょうだい。
わかりました。
Wakarimashita. Are you a double agent? Butterfly. Are you a double agent?
どう？みんなと話してみて。
You've talked with everyone I see. Are you joining us now? No.
そう。ここにいるのは
They're
大
selfish
事な人との
and
再会を
fools,
望む
and they need
惨めで
therapy.
かわいそうな人たち。そんな彼らに
That's
天使
not
さん
saving
は
them.
やり直す機会を与えてくれた。
Putting off your
それっ
grief
て素
makes
晴
it
らしい
worse
ことだと
later.
思わない？
What's that, puppy? What's that, puppy? Just a second. Ugh. The puppy has arrived. Is this why you betrayed me?
私は最初から組織の人
How was
間
it betrayal
だ
when we
っ
were
た
never a team?
という可能性は考
Alright,
え
hey,
られ
listen
ない
here,
かしら。
bitch.
治安書に目を持っていれば
You can
活動
pull
の幅を
that
広げる
shit
こと
with
ができる。
anybody else.
そうで
Now,
しょ？
right,
天使
biscuit.
さんは捨て子だっ
She
た
said yes.
私を引き取り
You have no way to argue otherwise because you can't
武
see her.
術や傀儡の扱いといった順位に必要な技を私に教え
Combat
てくれた。
perpetrated
言うなれ
temperance
ば
of my
この
life.
命は私のも
But
のじ
he's
ゃない。
in for more than just helping
そ
people.
う。彼の執念は単純なものではない。ここにいるのは
All
大
his tests
事な
subject,
人
he
との
needs to
再
complete
会
the
を
last
望
two
む
puppets.
惨めでかわいそうな人たち。けれどみんなその事実を知りながら互助会に入った。
What?
私も含めてね。
What kind of puppet is he trying to make? That's not for your ears, members only, you see.
でも本当に変わった人。
Yeah, I'm not like the others, because I'll fucking fight you.
人形たちを単なる道具や怪物のように扱わなかった。
I don't know if I showed respect. And just
生
stand
ま
by
れ
and
つきの正
watch.
義感。
I am not righteous.
私なんかより順位に向いてるかもしれないわね。
You're better suited to be a patroller than me. You were kind to those people and their puppets too.
優しい。
Kindness.
ね。
But I do admit you're not like the others.
もしかしたら私もあなたと同じだったのかも。
Why did you repeat that? Can I trust your words this time?
それはあ
Definitely
んたが
not.
考えることよ。
Trust is a delicate thing. You must follow your instincts and decide how much you're
自
willing
ら
to
の経
give.
験と直感を信じなさい。
Zero.
そろそろ
Enough chatter. Let's take you to Master Dogmaker's
や
port.
ばいやばいよ。
カンちゃ
Money.
ん、どうしたの？
インディ姉ちゃん、また残像が来たよ。それもたくさん。
あんたはばあさんを連れてみんなを安全なところに避難させて。
わかった。
Is he the puppet or is the grandma the puppet?
漂白者はこの混乱に乗じて逃げるのかしら？
I didn't read that.
手伝ってくれるの？わかりやすい人。
Why are your ears pointy? You owe me the truth after this. Everything.
そんなことしたら日が暮れ
Everything,
ちゃうわ。
huh? The secrets I hold might be bigger than you imagine.
それでも知りたい
If you
の
really
なら
want to know, you'll need to
せ
survive
い
this
ぜい生き延び
first.
てみせ。
I've survived worse, like falling out of the damn ocean sky. Oh, somebody's awake. Oh, it's just a couple of little guys. It's just a couple of little guys. You guys, do you think I'm gonna die to this? Did I get a trial? Nice.
ゴッツァン、行くわよ。
Okay.
覚えてろよ。
You can't come from behind me. I can't see you.
容赦しない。逃げられると思うな。
Da-na-na-da-na-da-na.
目をそらしちゃダメよ。
More?
さあ、行くわよ。そろそろ終わりね。
Boba.
痛めつけてほしい。
Ta-da. What are you freaking out about? Booba?
ここの親玉だな。
Oh,
い
hi.
い加減諦めろ。
I can
ここはもう
explain.
包囲されている。
I can explain. Did I
これは
message her?
これ
Oh,
は
I did message her. Right,
人気者
right.
で
The
困り
Morse
ます
code. I
ね。
remember. But the part.
おい、誰だお前。漂白者を離せ。
断ったら？
動くな。もう逃げ場はないぞ。
逃げる？そんな必要はない。こちらには立派な人質がいるからね。
待ってくれ。
この人があんたの
I
客
wouldn't
人って
try
こと
anything if
か
I
し
were
ら。
you. Can't risk the
余計な真似し
VIP
たら
getting hurt now, can we?
わかるわよね。
みんな武器を下ろすんだ。
Weak.
頼む。
This is why the villain gets away. Don't touch me. No consent.
信じてついてこい。
Trust you? Trust you? A bitch? Try resonator, left the party. Okay, why did you open my party menu? What'd you do that for? Why are they just gone? Why are we going into a portal? Where did it come from? Don't. The doll factory. What the fuck is that? Yeah, that's fine. The fuck is that? Was that the doll maker? The doll maker's not a person?
はい。一部は内部まで侵入し、周囲には順位の包囲。備品を持ち出しての脱出は困難かと。
Hard to make it out of here.
例の漂白者の件、よくやってくれた。研究に使わずとも人質として十分使える。
Was that tweaking or
これ
was
から
it
どうします
glitching?
か？
やむをえん。隠し部屋の座標を教える。
You guys in
あいつを連れてき
coordinates.
てくれ。
Coordinates do nothing when you're inside. Or
しかし、
underground.
あの漂
Inside.
白者、腕だけは確かなよう
Is
で
there
す。むやみに連れ回すと逃げられる
coordinates
恐
for
れが。
depth?
安心しろ。奴に盗聴器と追跡装置を仕込んだ。ここは私の縄張り。
It's not going anywhere in our
逃げることなど
territory. I have
できまい。
triggers planted on her.
とにかく連れてこ
You
い。
ain't got shit.
話
I've
は
left
それから
several times. I ain't scared of you
聞い
bitches.
た？ここは私たちの縄張り。変な気は起こさないで。
I don't have bright ideas. I have tons of stupid ideas.
心配してくれるの？大丈夫。そう簡単にはここまで来られない。
Joke's on you. I don't need to be rescued.
ところで、あれはあんたが呼んだ援軍？暗号化された通信機でも使わないと呼べ
You
ない
had
は
an
ずよ
encrypted
ね。
transmitter tablet.
さあ、そ
Hand
れ
it
を
over.
よこ
Don't
し
try
て。
to deceive me.
私に隠し事は通用しな
I'm
い
so
わ。
confused. You can dream.
愚かね。まだ断る権利があるとでも思って
Funny, you
いる
think
の？
I am afraid of you. If you could have just grabbed it, why didn't you just grab it?
あんたは大事な実験品。何か問題があれば私が恥をかく。
Fight me.
わかった？
I'm forcing you. I'm forcing your hand. Fight me.
機を仕込まれた。もしここで疑われたら全てが無駄になる。
Fight me. Don't talk in my skull. Man, nothing is creepier up close.
彼に気づかれないよう人形に筆談させる。
Why would I not? That's visually showing.
よろしい。おとなしく従ってくれるのなら、こちらも穏便に
I
済ま
feel
せら
like
れ
if
る。
I'm too obedient, it'd be kind of a red flag, don't you think? Clearly, I'm the only one that has a thought in my head. Where are we?
あんたが知る必要はない。黙って歩きなさい。
Alright, you ain't gotta be a bitch about it.
ここは人形を作る工場。仕掛けや演
This
習の
place
部
is
下
full
が
of
多い。
traps and his minions very dangerous. At least tell me what he's planning to do with me.
そう焦らないで。すぐわかることよ。
I've got mixed feelings
兵士
about
は
the
フラッグシリスと
situation.
組んでいた。
In bed
素
with
材を用意
the
するのが奴ら。
perfect.
人
He
形を
is
作るの
trading
は兵士。
overclock, inducing puppets for resources and funds. Okay, go.
しかし、
You went down?
証拠がない。
Need your help to collect proof
だか
of
らあ
his
んたに協力
crimes.
してもらった。
How do you not have proof? How long have you been doing this?
そろそろ時間か。おしゃべりはここまでよ。とっとと歩きなさい。
木を見て手錠を外す。それまで不
I
審
need
な
you
素
to
振りは見せ
pretend
な
you're
い
still
で。
bound.
いい？
Fine. Somebody's about to fight me. They're kind of creepy when they don't look like people.
おかしい。
Huh? Can leave the puppet where it is whenever necessary. Okay.
おかしい。道が塞がれている。でも、そこの装置で開けられるはず。
I don't know if this is weird or kind of aesthetic. Hello.
ねえ、あんたたちここの警備？この人を英士さんのところに連れて行く。通らせてもらうわよ。
Something's not right.
家族。俺の家族。
オーバークロック？人形と接触しすぎたか。それと。獣医たちが侵入してきたのも良くなかったみたいね。
Watch out.
俺の家族を返せ！
痛めつけてほしい。
Stop.
さあ、行くわよ。目をそらしちゃダメ。
You guys that use your stupid ice guns are really fucking annoying. I want you to know that.
容赦しない。借りは返す。
Bam, bam, pants. Alright. Done.
終わりよ。
You guys suck.
ともれ。復元。何事も素早く。いい心がけよ。人の体では無理だけど、私の剣士なら難なく通り抜けられる。
Baby. Puppet. Can I go under here? Oh. What's on that tongue? If this can just go underneath it, why can I not just crawl? Huh? Up. Oh, hey. Press it. Anyway, back to the puppet. Where am I going with this? Also, why is the water so zappy? Can this thing jump? What is E? Wait. It can! E. How many of those do you just have in your pocket? Also, where are your pockets? You don't have anywhere to be keeping these things. The fuck? You have presents. I would like a present. Treasure.
これでセキュリティを解除できるはず。
This should deactivate the alarms of the lower levels. What? Being in this area? Hey, what's up, bitches?
剣士、出番よ。
Beep, 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 beep. Her jumping around when she's just flinging a puppet is kind of goofy. Why do you have lasers in the corners? Okay. What's that gonna do? Oh. What? Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to step on it. Thank you. I figured it out. You don't have to yoink my eyeballs. Up we go.
ここまで来ればもう大丈夫ね。この先に兵士さんがいる。くれぐれも
Don't blame me now. I ain't going anywhere. I'm not the one that's about to die.
人形のプロトタ
It's
イ
gonna
プ
be
がこん
Puppet
なに
Master.
この
Whoa,
工
that
場
one's huge.
一体どれほどの秘密が。あんたこの人形たちのデータを取るんだ。
Record the physical status of these puppets Master needs to know for his research.
ここの人形は
These are his prized achievements. We need photos of them to prove what we've been
そ
up
のデバ
to.
イスで記録して
Fine.
いいぞ。残さず全部取るんだ。手を抜くなよ。
Remember to capture every detail. I'll be watching. Okay, you do that. Oh, you mean like actually? Nice.
違法なルートで流通している軍用機か。一体どんな方法で入手したのか。
That one's kind of big.
こんな数の人形が一気に動くとなれば、考えただけでゾッとする。
Stop zooming the camera in so much. The fuck? Aesthetic. Beautiful.
これは人形のエネルギー源。共鳴者じゃないものが人形を動かすためのものよ。
Huh. Oh, the...
侵入者だ。殺せ。
私を侵入者扱いとはね。
What's the plan?
どうするも何も全員倒すしかないじゃない。ここで足止め食らうわけにはいかない。さっさと片付けるわよ。
Yes, ma'am. I'm all for murder. Can you get the big guy? Thank you.
奴らをさあ行くわよ。やっはあ。これで私が諦めるとでもまだ戦える。万象はこの身に響き渡る。はっ
I'm sorry, she has off-field damage.
どこを見ている。
Door? Oh, it is a door.
何事
Hi.
も素早く。いい心
Why
が
the
け。
far one? Hello?
は剣士出番。逃げられると思うの。せっ。万象はこの身に。
I don't think she's healing my trial character. I know she is. I kind of want her. But she's already used all of my fucking pulls. Why do we stop at that floor? Or puppet? Why are you just standing here? I want one. Sure, I could make one, but I'm too lazy. I am tied up. Hinky. Oh, that's cool as fuck. Alright, who's ready to die? Who are you? Dang, he's got a mask.
インリン。治安署の連中はどうした？
そちらは問題ありません。でも
Smash?
追放者たちにオーバークロックの症状が。
構わん。ただ
Fine,
の
they're
捨て駒だ。
disposable. You're fucked up.
もともと居場所のない連中だ。どこでくたばってもおかしくはない。
Are you enjoying the cozy game vibes? I mean you.
ほう。どういう意味だ？
Your forte could have saved many, but you're a piece of shit
そ
instead.
れがどうした？
Could
い
have
くら
saved
他人
them.
に尽くそう。
I'm sure, but who's gonna
自分自
save
身が
me?
救われねば意
See,
味がな
I
い。
told you, everybody's so fucking selfish. What are you planning to do?
天使さん、もうやめてください。たとえ両親の人形を作っても、それを喜ぶ人は誰もいません。
Your parents?
君ならこの苦心を
I
理
thought
解し
at
てくれ
least
る
you
と思
would
ったのだ
understand
が。
me. Oh my
それも
god,
仕
it was
方
her
のないこと。
diary.
お二人が亡くなった時、
You
君
hardly
はまだ
remember
幼
them.
かった。
Who are you?
君の記憶から人形を
Couldn't
作ることが
revive
できなか
them
ったの
from
だ
your
よ。
memories, not from my own either.
そこに特
This
別な
is where you
力を
come in,
持つ
Rover. You're a
この
godsend,
漂
a
白
gift
者
from
が現れた。
above.
これぞまさに天の
I
恵
don't know
み。
them.
そうだとも。
With help
君の
from the
体と
fricked
フラクトシデスの助力があれば、
cities.
お
Plus
二
your
人の
body's
人形
data,
を
and
作
will
ることが
finally
できる。
create their puppets.
あ
You
のお二人だ
was
け
an
は
outcast
いつで
alone,
も
shunned
私の味
till
方
my
だっ
mentor and
た。
his wife took me in.
あのお二人
They
こ
were
そ
my true family.
私の両親なのだ。何としても復活させる必要がある。
Doesn't mean you can hurt other people. You're
どうでもい
crazy.
い。他人の死活など。
You're legitimately
時間だ。
crazy.
工場については気にしなくていい。プロトタイプだけは守ってくれ。
Couple of prototypes I need to
それ
bring.
と
I didn't
私の
must
身
stay
分の
hidden
行方も
and use
奴ら
explosives
に
to
知られ
stop
ては
them
い
if
けない。
necessary. You know
有
them.
事の際はここを爆破するんだ。
それでは逃げ遅
But
れ
our
た味
people are
方
still
が。
味
inside.
方？
Our people?
私には
There's
君
only
以
the two
外の
of
味
us. The
方な
rest
ど
of
い
them
な
are
い。
not worth my
他
concern.
はただの足手まといだ。
この漂白者は
前と一緒だ。気絶させて連れて行く。今度は5体満足でなくても構わん。意識さえあれ
Well,
ば
like basic
フラクトシデ
consciousness
スの
is
技術で
enough.
なんとかなるだろう。
Methods to operate on a body like
人
that.
形を2つ残し
I leave
人
two
質を
puppets
取ってい
here
るように見せろ。門の内で交渉の真
to
似をして
pretend
時
we're
間
still
を稼
holding
げ。
her
人形のデータベー
hostage.
スもですか。
ああ、そうだ。
more
あれには
valuable
私
than
の
my
研
life.
究成果の全てが記録され
Dude,
ている。
literally, dirt
命より
is
大
more
事なも
valuable
のだ。
than your life
デー
right
タの
now.
転送作業は私がする。君はこいつを処分してこい。今すぐだ。
Now's the time. Do not knock me out. Suck it. Betrayed.
インリン、何をする？
What does it look
天
like?
使終わりにしよう。 あんたはもう逃げられない。フラクトシデスとの取引についてもだ。
To know why the
彼らの狙いはあんたもよく知っているはず。
Frexidus?
裏切ったな。
How dare you? Wah wah.
私は両親と同じ
I've never forgotten who I am. My bloodline is one of
その責任と誇りを忘れたことなど言
Jinsho's
っときもない。
controllers. I will always uphold my
だから
duty.
両親の
They
よう
fought
に
to the last minute of their lives
最後
trying
ま
to
で
save
悪
the
と戦い
innocent.
罪のない人たちを守る。
Double agent, you got played.
そのお二人のためを思って。
No, you didn't. You did it for you.
いや、あんたのやっていることは違う。かつてのぬくもりを自分のために取り戻そうとしているだけだ。でも
She has too much hair.
あの人たちはもういない。もう
Everyone else's
死んでい
loved
る。
ones. It's time to wake up from the dream.
みんな
そうはさせない。
You just let them
様
in.
子がおかしい。全員オーバークロック状態よ。
No shit, we already knew that. Where'd he go? Where's the big fish?
剣士出番。ザコ
I have my ult saved for him. Where is he?
Target 確認。
Oh god, two shield bitches? Really?
我が身をま
I'm
とえ。
dealing with all that.
いや。うわ。
Husband saves the day. Where are we? What is
制
that?
御盤を壊してホログラムを
Oh,
解いた。
that's dope as shit.
これがこの工場の
Stop
真の
flashing.
姿。こんなものまで隠し持ってるなんて。フラクトシですね。
You got this
利
from
用
them
す
in
る前
exchange
金
for
と
being
して
their
与えたの
pawn?
ね。
利用する。
Me? Their
利
pawn?
用するのは私の方だ。
Sweetheart? That's disgusting. Let's go!
捕らえた。
どこを見ている。借りは返す。飽きたわ。さようなら。
Sayonara.
言う。切る。地形も戦争に不可欠だ。
Oh, he moves.
慈悲など無用。
Nee, 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 nee.
締め殺す。なっつ。冷静さを失う。
Stop zapping me.
後戻りは許されない。
どこを見ている。誰が近づいていいんで。
ターゲット確認。
Brr, 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 brr.
すっ。壊れる。
Suck
天
it.
使もう終わった。
No, that's not how you win a battle. It's not surrender. It's ha! Suck it,
イン
bitch!
リン、なぜ私を裏切った？
Who even are you?
ここは私が作った聖地だ。ここに来る者は
Yo, that
人形に
visual.
より救
Hold
わ
on.
れ生まれ変わる。
Wait, stop.
私は
Stop talking.
救世主なのだ。
Stop it! Ah! Dang it, I just wanted the visual. I'm trying to take a screenshot, but the thing won't stay off. That's cool as shit.
君にとっても家族と再会できるチャンスのはずだ。
The fucking
なぜ
text wouldn't stay off the
私の邪魔
screen.
を。
Papas can never replace real family.
私には両親の記憶がない。それでも彼らの思いは私の心に
Dude,
あ
where is
る。
your
よく自分の不幸を嘆いて
Passant
たく
mark?
さん泣いたり
Resonator
もした。
mark?
それでも 己の幸福のために
Forte.
他人を犠牲にしようと
Forte
は
mark.
思わない。
What is it? I forget what it's called.
死んだ人は帰ってこないと知っているから。
What's your mark?
そしてその運命は誰にも変えられるものじゃない。でも私欲のために力を乱用し両親を殺した奴らを消すことならできる。
力は幸福のためだけにある。法も断りも
Just
さ
tools
ら
for
なる
those
強
in
者が他を縛り
charge.
つける道具に過ぎん。
それでも人々の幸福を罪のない民衆の命をもてあそんでいいわけじゃない。
随分と立派な正義感を持ったものだな。だが君はもう順位でも何でもない。君の情報は全て消去された。君が順位であったこともここでの戦いも未来永劫誰にも語られることはない。
Oh, that's fucked up.
二度と順位として治安署に
Yes,
戻
they
ら
may
ないと
never
して
allow me
も
back. Doesn't matter now. It's a small price to pay to stop you,
あんた
the
の背
greedy
後にあ
evil
る罪を
user.
暴けるのなら安いものよ。それに
You Slade looking ass, Slade wannabe.
私なりの方法で理想を目指し続ける。
君は
Wait, what'd she
こ
do?
こまでのようね。あとはあんたに任せるよ。
Oh, hell
脅
yeah.
迫者。
I get to stab a
あ
bitch.
と順位には私のことを伏せてほしい。そうね。すべてを明かすまでは。ね、今度会った時にまたいろいろと教えてあげる。
You guess. You still owe me an
今日はありがと
explanation. You owe me an explanation. Where are you going?
こっちだ。急げ。
Oh, damn. I don't get to stab him? The fucking cops are here. They ruin everything. Let another patrol into the area.
漂白者大丈夫？
I'm fine. I kicked butt. Where were you?
ここにいた人たちはみんな今週に連れ戻した。でもなぜかすごく抵抗されて。
Is everybody a
あ
cop?
の人形たちと離れたくないのかな。それについては正直こっちもお手上げ状態。
Not much we could do about it. They'll need some time to process.
あれ？あんたを人質に取ったあの女は？まさか逃げられた？早く追跡しないと。
Don't worry about it. I don't think that's necessary.
へえ、逃げ足だけは早いな。今からじゃさすがに追いつかないか。けど悪い人っぽい感じはしなかったしな。
But
い
it
やいや、
seems so
人
not
を見
so
かけで判断
easy.
するのはダメだ。
No, can't make
逃げたあいつの
assumptions.
ことは置いといて、あんたは今回の事件の証人
Crucial
として
witness, please come to the
治安署
bureau for
で
a
ちょっとだ
statement
け
when
聞
you
き取り
can.
させてもらうね。
Yeah, sure.
じゃあ署で待ってるよ。
Bye bye. Do I get a reward or oh yay, treasure. Treasure.
役立つといいが。
Wait. So I do. I'm gonna do one since we're in here. That got purple. Oh my god, if it's fucking alcohol, I swear to god.
正義の味方しか
Okay.
ここに参上。
I think that's the last one I needed for her. So that's fun. Why are you here? It wasn't supposed to be you. I know you're also here at the same time, but yep, that was the last one. All this was just from trying to get the my gunslinger guy, my Mortifi. I only got him once. Well. Yinlin didn't like me? Why? This is bullshit. Everybody else gets streamer luck.
例の反婚互助会については大体分かった。ありがとう。この証言はとても参考になるよ。でもあのフラクトシデス絡みの事件、あんたよくそんなの一人で止められたね。
But you were lucky to stop them in time.
あそこにいた共鳴
Most
者
of the
のほとんどに
resonators are varying
オー
degrees
バ
of
ークロックの症
overclocking.
状
They
が見
need
られた。
urgent care professionals from
だからもう過疎研究員に協力を要請し、中でもレイエイという人は重体
Didn't
みた
wake
い。
up from his coma until
なんせ
yesterday.
でももう目を覚ましたよ。後遺症は多いみたいだけど生きてるだけでよかった。それにしても
The
失
missing
踪事
cases
件の
led
裏に
to
こん
an
な大きな陰
illegal
謀があったなんて、
cult-like organization
さ
and
す
a
が
bunch
の
of
私
other
も驚
twisted
いたよ。
plans.
漂白者がいなかったら本当にヤバかった。
Be toast without your help. Actually, I couldn't do it without someone else's help.
ある人？誰
？Emissary of justice hidden in the
なんだそり
shadows.
ゃ。でも案外そういう人が順位に向いてるのかも。
Be sure to tell
そ
her
ろそ
that.
ろ私も退散すっかな。
Find
何
something
か問題があ
unusual
ったら
again.
いつで
Bye.
も私に教えてね。
Why am I doing your dirty work? Same as last time, Rover. You know how to find me.
署名がないメール。どう見てもあれだ。インデ
Use
ィ
the
ンが待って
sensor.
る。教えた手口。隠れ家の場所を示す。
Wolf
狼型の
markings.
サインのことか。ス
Oh,
キャンしてみよ
I
う。
didn't notice that previously. Okay. I mean, I was just gonna follow the circles or go into the circle. Hi. You're kind of out in the open. They've seen your face.
今回はいい場所でしょ、漂白者。
You're pretty.
約束通り何でも教えるわ。
Oh, you a lot of explanation. You planning on to get me in something? Bleh.
単なる偶然よ。本来であればレイエとフラクトシデスの取引を監視するだけの任務。私はそこに現れた都
You're just
合
my
のいい
pawn
やつを利
in
用
my
したので
plan.
人形倉庫を探すためにね。ただ人形を連れて逃
Demon
げ出
tried
そ
to
うとす
escape,
るとは
couldn't
思わ
risk
なかった。
exposing myself yet, so I had to track down him.
余計
Retrieve
な
the
ことをしてくれたもの
puppets.
ね。天使があんたに目をつけたのはそ
Around
の
that
後。
time, Dollmaker caught wind of your
あ
special
の隠れ家に
abilities.
誘
He
導
asked me
し
to
てあ
bring
んた
you
を襲
to
った
that
の
safe
は
house.
そのためね。
He zapped me.
そう
Oh,
手加減
really?
したつもり
I
は
am
なかったのだけ
on
ど
up the voltage for the best effect. That was just a little zap to you. You're really
天
close.
使があんたの体を
Oh
欲
my
しがる
god,
わけ
you're
ね。
super close. Smooch? You're in my face space. Nobody gets in this face space unless you go and smooch.
残念だけどそれは無理ね。
Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry. I missed whatever we were talking about. You were too
理
close.
解できない力により記憶を封じられた。だそうよ。
According to him, you possess power. Okay,
取
but
り戻すどころか
said he couldn't read your
記
mind
憶を
and
除くだけで正
risking
気を失
his
いそう
own
に
set
なる
out.
だとか。
Can't imagine what the hell is going on
正直
in your skull.
少し不気味ね。
I don't
今
even
回
know,
みたい
man.
に他の人のために戦って負けて
I didn't get
それ
any.
で記憶が封印されたのかしら。真実はともあれ
So you
もっと自分の
so you
身を
should
案じな
stop
いと
playing hero and take
長
better
生き
care of
できない
yourself.
わ
You'll
よ。
live longer that way. I don't want to play hero. I just end up playing hero. People pay me enough and then I play hero. Are you worried about me?
杞憂だってことは分かっているわ。
Don't think I need to since you can handle yourself just fine.
私
Thank
の
you.
助けが必要な
I'm
ら
glad you understand I don't need to be saved.
いつでも呼んでちょうだい。私はこんなはぐれ者だけど
Both
あん
alone
た
in
には
this
何
world.
か
We could be
似
alone
たものを
together.
感じる。
We could be alone
き
together.
っといつかこの出会いが
Reminder that I'm
私の支
not
え
the
に
only
なる
one.
と
Only a
信
solitary
じて
soul
み
out
よう
there.
かしらね。
You don't have to be.
いずれはこの孤独も受け入れなければいけない。
You don't have to be. I can
天
come
使
with
には
you.
できなかったことよ。
I can come with you.
彼は私の両親を復活させて孤独を紛らわそうとした。
Oh my god, a bear. He had companions, she just never cherished them.
その通りね。
We all became chess
両
pieces to
親が死
him.
んだ後、この世に価値を見出せなくなった。私と同じように。そして
Raised me to be a patroller for his own agenda, needed a mole in the public security bureau.
結局私は
In the
本
end, I
物
did
の
become
順
a
位にな
patroller,
ったけ
but
ど、
failed to stay by his side
そ
as
れ
he
と同時
desired.
に私は裏切り者ね。彼
Damn,
にとって
indeed,
は
heart-wrenching betrayer to him. He dug his own grave. No, he didn't, because he's still
も
alive.
ちろん私もその罪を擁護するつもりはない。
I don't plan to defend him. Good.
でももしもっと
As
早
soon
く
as this whole
彼
mess
の計
could
画
have
を阻
been
止できていれば
avoided. Why didn't I do something?
全ては起こらなかった。
Oh, there it is. It's
私
on
も
her
夢を
thigh.
見ていたのかもしれない。みんなと同じ儚い夢を
Onto
もう
night
一度
pipe
両親と
dream.
一から家族をやり直す。
Dream of finally meeting my parents and having a real family.
不確かで甘い夢。
You have really long fingers.
私はその夢が他人の犠牲で紡がれていると知っても
But upon sacrifices
す
of
ぐに目を覚
innocent
まそうとしなかっ
lives,
た。
but I couldn't bear to shatter it. In the end, you still fulfilled your duty as a patroller, as a hero that you told me not to be.
それはあんたの一生懸命な姿に心を打たれたとしておこうかしら。
I mean,
遠視は闇に潜む影の一つに過ぎない。
wait, where's the snooze
そ
button?
の裏には
I
さ
can't
らに大
snooze
き
the
な影が
ad.
うごめいている。
My ad doesn't have a snooze button anymore.
だから真の黒幕をこの巨悪を
Stay
破るまで
vigilant.
私たちに休む暇はないわ。
Supposed to true culprits. We?
もちろん今さら後に引けるとでも思った。
Obviously not.
そうね。
Oh,
私の正
you're
体も知
close
られてし
again.
まったことだし、
Ma'am,
全て忘れて
please,
も
I
らわない
can't
とね。
brain work. Please go easy on me.
冗談よ。
I was able to accomplish far more and save many more
あ
lives
ん
than
た
I
のおかげで
imagined.
多
I'm
くの
trying to
命
finish
が
the
救われ
dialogue before the ad starts.
た。あんただったら本当に信じられるのかもしれない。
You mean it? You trust me? That makes us friends.
どうだろうね。
Or something
それ
else.
とありがとう。こんな私を最後まで信じてくれて。それじゃ次はどんな形で会えるか
Under an entirely new identity.
漂白者さん。
We did it. We completed our quest under dialogue. What about now? Come to me now? Nope. Why? Please, I have no stuff now. You've taken everything from me. You've taken everything from me. Okay. There's gonna be an ad, which is unfortunate because I was planning on ending. So once you get out of the ad, I guess I'll send you guys somewhere. So or I might send you during the ad. What if I did a raid now? I gotta see who's online. Don't go anywhere, even during the ad, okay? Okay. But D's on.
俺の道が見え
That'll
る。
work. Bye. You guys are going to go to Bloody D. Have fun. Be nice. Bye.